1093's Discord just dropped 2 new Archer commanders and their skills that are confirmed to be coming up in Rise of Kingdoms. Let's see if they shake up the meta. Alright, so without wasting any time at all, we're going to go over the first one that was leaked, which is Zhuge Liang. I apologize if I mispronounce any of those names. It's obviously not my native language, but this is the open field commander coming to Rise of Kingdoms. So, very first skill, the burning of Zane. I'm not, like I said, I'm going to be rough on these pronunciations, but at the max level, it deals direct damage to 5 nearby enemy troops, damage factor 2000, right? That is just YSG, but with 300, more damage factor, which is pretty insane. In addition, all targets will deal 15% less damage for 3 seconds. So, obviously a very powerful skill. The only other skill, to my knowledge, that directly reduces all damage done is, in fact, Richard, which only does it for 2 seconds, but it's 25%. Either way, I think this is an automatic include in any Archer Murder Ball, and we'll go over some pairings that I think will be most beneficial for this commander later on, but either way, just based on that active skill, this is going to be a good commander. This next skill coming out is Burning Arrows. It's a passive skill. Archer units led by this commander gain up to 30% increase Archer health and deal up to a 5% extra damage. Whenever this troop is inflicted with a control effect, this is similar to Boudica's, by the way, while on the map it has a 50% chance to negate the effect and deal damage factor 500 to the attacking troop, can trigger it once every 5 seconds. So, like I said, this is very similar to Boudica, and while Boudica and Zhuge Liang are going to be great commanders, you could actually split that skill up so that Guan just doesn't silence both your Archer marches now instead of just one. So, I think that this skill is obviously very strong. It's going to add another counter to all those Guans in the field. It's not going to make Guan irrelevant, but it is still going to be a very, very nice skill. The next skill we have is another passive skill. When this commander's troops contain only Archer units, it deals up to 20% extra skill damage, and normal attacks from this commander have a 10% chance to increase the attack of Archer units by 50% for 3 seconds. So, it's really funny. They kind of just took YSG's skill set of like the procced Archer attack, added a little Boudica in there, and then added some of Richard's damage reduction, and they just kind of made this commander. So it's definitely really interesting. Obviously, this is a really good skill. 20% bonus skill damage is not quite up to YSG level, but it's on par with the new Garrison commander we just got, which was Heraclius, which is another 20%. And then, obviously, the procced Archer attack for 3 seconds is really nice. It doesn't have that rage gen that YSG has, but it is still very, very good. This next skill is another passive skill. I'm guessing it's called Marquise or something along those lines. And it's a very long skill description and kind of tricky to read and understand. So why don't we jump into it and see what it is. So whenever this commander uses an active skill, their troop gains the Marquise effect, which increases their damage done by 10% for 10 seconds, but only if it does not already have this effect. If their troop contains only Archer units and it has the Marquise effect, whenever this commander uses an active skill, they will consume the effect and deal direct damage to up to 3 nearby troops, damage factor 1,500. Direct damage dealt through this method is not affected by buff to skill damage. So this won't increase their, by skill damage, but still you have 1,500 damage factor to 3 targets on a passive skill. That's absolutely absurd. This will come off of when using an active skill, and you'll see based on the expertise on the far left here, this actually will happen more often than not when you use your first skill. So all in all, this is just pretty ridiculous. So why don't we jump into the expertise, and it's Chu Shibao, right? And it's the last expertise skill. Upon entering battle, this commander's troops gain the Marquise effect, right? So as soon as they enter battle, they're going to gain the Marquise effect, which means that their first skill cycle is going to deal 1,500 damage factor to 3 targets, in addition to their automatic nuke that they have already on their active skill. So anyway, let's keep going. So upon entering battle, this troop's commanders gain the Marquise effect, which is the 10% damage increase for 15 seconds. Each time their burning of Xingye, which is their active skill, or the Marquise effect that we went through the last time. Skill deal skill damage. This troop's commander immediately gains 30 rage. So basically what this means, it's got a built-in rage engine. It's got a built-in rejuvenate. Why don't I say that? So whenever they use their active skill, they'll get 30 rage, which means that in the skill tree, maybe you don't have to take all the talents that you need for rejuvenate. And at the same time, you're going to be firing off a ridiculous amount of skill damage to everyone nearby you. And it's just absolutely absurd. So this commander, all in all, looks like the absolute meta AoE nuke. I mean, you could pair this with Waishi, with Boudica, with I mean, it doesn't even matter. You could pair this with, like, I don't know, Kusunoki and an epic, and you would still do just fine. So I'll hold the pairs for now. We'll go over that at the very end. But for now, this commander is looking very nice. All right, our next commander is Dido, or Dido. I was a Pokemon player, so maybe it's Dido. Who knows? And this will be the Garrison commander that the Archers desperately needed to help them balance out in this meta. So the first skill is called Soul of Carthage. All right, so deals direct damage to a targeted troop, so one target. Damage factor 2000. If the target is a rallied army, the skill also reduces the skill damage of up to 5 troops nearby this commander's troop for 3 seconds by 30%. So basically, this is kind of an interesting form of anti-swarm. It's not necessarily punishing the swarmers, but it is making it so that they deal a lot less damage to you in the form of skill damage. So this is really interesting. I'm interested to see how this kind of plays out in the practical sense, but either way, it's a really cool and unique effect, and I'm looking forward to it. So next we have the Weeping Queen. Archer units led by this commander gain 20% increased defense and deal up to 5% increased damage to infantry. If this commander's troops contain only archer units, it takes 10% normal or less normal attack damage. So again, it's looking like it's not going to be able to be paired much with Heraclius, which is a mixed troop garrison, or like YSS or anything like that. Generally keeping on the same page that because the archer tree is so strong and because these skills make it so that you can only have archers in there, it looks like you will be pairing this with another archer commander. So next we have Queenly Zeal. Archer units led by this commander gain 10% increased attack or 20% at the highest skill, while garrison in a stronghold or your city, the normal attacks of this commander have a 20% chance to inflict the ambushed effect on the targeted troop for 3 seconds. This prevents the troop from benefiting from effects triggered while being surrounded. So basically, Pakal Herald or Tariq Pakal, when they get surrounded, Pakal gets up to 40% damage reduction, right? 40%, which is crazy. This ability absolutely destroys the new Tariq Pakal rally. I mean, this makes Tariq Pakal swarmable. Think about it. Tariq Pakal, this skill alone makes it so that they have a 20% chance to just take 40% increased damage for 3 seconds, and to all swarmers, which means it's going to melt. So this commander straight up just annihilates the new infantry rally, and I'm all for it because there are way too much Tariq calls going on right now, and so I'm really excited. And this skill is crazy. It's kind of hard to understand, but once it clicked in my head, it really was like, wow, this is kind of ridiculous. So next we have the last skill, the fourth skill. While garrison in the city or stronghold, archer units led by this commander gain 20% increased health and can reduce incoming skill damage by 15% every 10 seconds. So this skill is not quite as insane. Basically, once every 10 seconds, it will reduce its skill damage taken by 15. I mean, that's pretty bad. Why not just make it a permanent 15%? And then 20% increased health is nice. Health is hard to come by, so I'll take it. But, I mean, after a skill like Queenly Zeal, you don't really... This commander doesn't need much more, honestly. So, and if you see in the expertise skill is also absolutely bonkers. So, this skill doesn't really need to give them any stats. So, with the expertise, archer units led by this commander gain 40% increased attack, all right? A flat 40%, 100% of the time, okay? This commander might get nerfed, but we'll see where it's going. Anyway, so as a baseline, they get 40% increased attack And while garrison in a city or stronghold, the normal attacks of this commander's troops have a 30% chance to reduce the target troops' defense by 40% and inflict the ambushed effect for 3 seconds, which prevents the targeted troop from benefiting from effects triggered by being surrounded, can trigger once every 8 seconds. So you have this expertise skill, which adds on to the fact that you have Queenly Zeal destroying their benefit from surrounding effects, and now this can trigger another time at a 30% chance to reduce their defense by 40%, and make it so that the benefits don't occur. So you have 2 different skills that are making those happen. I mean, basically this Archer garrison just killed Pakal. It's gone. There is no more Pakal. I mean, I don't know if that's intentional, but I mean, Pakal already had very few uses in the field. And now, I mean, if Pakal is hitting this rally, you're just going to be able to swarm the Pakal, and that's the only thing that the Pakal was doing anyway, which was making it so your rally can't be swarmed. So all in all, this commander is bonkers. As far as garrisons, this is the most hard direct counter to any one rally I've ever seen, and this will make Archer garrisons back in the meta absolutely. Alright, so now let's go over some pairs for this commander. Obviously, there's no coincidence as to why Boudica is on the screen. So, Boudica and your new open field nuke, right, which is the Zhuge Liang, are going to pair just fine together. It's not going to be my number one pairing if you're bringing 2 archers to the field, which I think with the inclusion of these commanders you should be. However, if you are just going to bring 1 archer pair, I think there's no reason why you don't put Boudica as a primary and Zhuge Liang as a secondary and do just an absolutely absurd amount of damage. And you've got your tankiness with your Boudica, you've got your nuke with your Zhuge Liang, which is basically just your better YSG. And that's how that goes. Now, for maybe like an altar fight or a ruins fight, I could definitely see you pairing Zhuge Liang with YSG. And this is actually the pair that I would recommend if you're bringing 2 archer marches. So you want to pair your Boudica with either your Artemisia or maybe like a Tommy, but probably your Artemisia. And then you want to have your Zhuge Liang with your YSG. And simple fact is that the amount of AoE skill damage that you're going to be doing in a circular area is unheard of. This will be the best trades that you will probably get, probably better than even Guan Scipio when you're in a ruins or altar fight. Zhuge Liang with YSG is going to be insane. They have synergy all around the board. They have an insane amount of skill damage. It's all circular AoE. The only thing that I don't know that stacks, but I think it might even stack because it's a passive skill, is the procced archer attack for the 50% plus the 100% from YSG. So you've got your rage engine on your YSG, you've got your increasing your skill damage on both commanders. Maybe the 50% and the 100% will stack. I do think the passive skills do stack, but testing will need to be done just to see if they can both occur at the same time. So you will have your Zhuge Liang with your YSG and your Boudica with Artemisia. I think that is the way to go if you have 2 archer marches, and I really am looking forward to the trades that these marches get. It's bringing archers back, baby. It's going to be good. One thing that I did want to add on just before I conclude the results of the open field pairings is that Zhuge Liang has everything but march speed. So YSG also has 0 march speed. So while that is an absolute powerhouse nuke, there is a very high chance that march gets stuck and then you're just screwed. So I wish it had some march speed. I don't know why it doesn't, but it's probably because it would be too strong. But just keep in mind when you make those pairings, you might want to balance out the march speed, which means maybe you bring the Tommy after it gets its relic buff for the extra 15% march speed. And maybe YSG's time is run out, but honestly, probably not. I think a lot of people just value the big old damage, and you can deal with the march speed later on. Maybe you bring Milan to boost the march speed or something. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. And now why don't we hop over to the garrison pairings, and I think you might actually be surprised. Alright, so I went ahead and put the 2 new commanders up on the screen, and that is because I think that they're just going to be paired together and become the new Archer garrison meta. There's no way that the new Commander Dido doesn't become the primary. Basically, she's just the absolute infantry counter. She's got the support tree, she's got the conquering or the garrison tree, and she's got the archer tree. I mean, you've got everything you want there. There's nothing more you could ask for. And then as far as Zhuge Liang, well, he's got no march speed, but he's still good in the open field. But also, every single one of his skills, every single one, except for borrowing arrows, works in the garrison. So, and borrowing arrows still half works in the garrison. The only part that doesn't work is whenever this commander's troop is inflicted with a control effect while on the map, it has a 50% chance to negate the effect and deal direct damage factor of 500. That is so small compared to the rest of the kit that this guy is bringing you. So I think this is going to be the new pairing, and honestly, it's going to be really strong, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, guys, if you got value from this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know what you think about these new commanders in the comments. Is the no march speed on the Zhuge Liang going to kill him in the open field? Probably not. Will this new Archer Garrison be way too good in the infantry and everything else? I don't know. We're going to see how it plays out. But again, please like and subscribe, and you can get some more information coming up in the future, as well as some KVK updates, as we just had our Pass 4 opening, and it went pretty well. So anyway, take care, guys, and I'll see you around.